Welcome to the Upshot, Multi-World Disc Golf's podcast about the latest in the disc golf world. I'm the editor, Charlie Eisenhood. Joining me is Josh Mansfield on this Tuesday, August 26th, and it feels like a historic weekend as Paul McBeth gets back into the winner's circle for the first time in over 2 years, beating Gannon Buhr in a head-to-head battle down the stretch at Idlewild, and McBeth able to close out with a birdie on 18. Really nice second shot to get underneath the canopy, get inside C1, and tap in for the win. Josh, so much to get into today. We're going to have Paul on a little bit later in the show as well. But you know what felt kind of like he was flirting with a win here and there this season, but couldn't seem to put the pieces together in those final rounds. He finally does. And for the first time ever in his career, goes head-to-head with Gannon and gets a win.
It really was remarkable. There's so many exciting stories that come out of this, but to me, here's the biggest one. And I'm just gonna hit the important question off the top. What does this mean for Paul McBeth and his legacy? What does it mean for when we think about Paul and like the post and pre-COVID eras? I feel like people were starting to work on the epilogue to Paul's career. And any win was going to be like a final, like, little part of a chapter. Like, it was getting to the point that, like, we were the authors of that story were running out. They were running out of material. Like, it was going to end with a paragraph that talked about Paul always played well after the injuries and had a few wins, but never really regained his form, right? And then the credits roll and it shows like who played, you know, and that's the sports documentary. That's what it felt like. It felt like we were getting there, and it felt like an almost unsatisfying finish in a lot of ways. I think that this win, it makes it so that the writers want to stick another chapter behind it. Like, I feel like it's just not done now. And I don't think this individual tournament plays a huge role in his legacy. And if he doesn't win again, then, you know, are we going to remember it? Maybe, maybe not. But to me, it's this sense of like, oh my gosh, he did it. I think that it just feels like there's something more to come. And I don't know if it'll be a major. I don't know if it'll be a couple more wins. But it feels like this is the, you know, to close out his career, at the end, you know, towards the end of his career, he now then did this over the next couple seasons. That's what it feels like to me. It really feels like the beginning of something, not just another tournament.
Well, you think about how he got here, right? He wins his first Elite Series at the Memorial in 2011. He now has 55 career Elite Series and major wins. And you look at where those came, right? Mm-hmm. He had these amazing seasons, 2015, 2019. But he only, before this past weekend, he only had 8 of those wins post-COVID. And I say post-COVID, that's post-March 2020. Okay. Because for disc golf, post-COVID is kind of a different story than for a lot of the rest of society, because they came back in June. And in fact, they came back, DDO, and McBeth won.
That's a post-COVID win, though. Yeah.
So, like, you know, he comes out and he plays pretty well. He wins DDO and MVP that year. He gets 3 wins, including the US DGC in 2021. And it still feels like we're kind of in the Paul era at that point, right? Yep. Gannon hadn't ascended yet.
Had not won yet.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then, you know, it's starting to feel like Paul isn't at that level anymore. And then he wins 2022 Worlds. And you're like, wow, this, and, you know, has that amazing putt go in on 17. And then since then, you know, and we'll get to this a little bit later, but, you know, he deals with some injuries. He has only won twice since. Mm-hmm. He won PCS 2023 in July, and then a little more than 2 years later, he now wins Idlewild. But when you look at the stats, and we're going to get into this in just a second, like, we are seeing him returning to the highest level. And, you know, you look at the standings, you look at whatever you want, he's not at Gannon's level, but he is coming back into the form that can make him a perennial winner again.
And that's why this feels like the beginning of something, not just a one-off.
Yeah.
I think now's the perfect time. Let's jump into those stats, Charlie, because that speaks volumes about the potential that McBeth has to finish out this season and even possibly into next season.
So this is just looking at last year to this year. Okay. So fairway hits 2024, he 78%, 8th on tour. He's up a couple percent to 80%, 6th on tour this year. But accuracy off the tee, never been a real problem.
Yeah, never been
Paul.
our question mark.
Circle 1 in regulation, he's up from 11th last year to 9th this year, up 4%, 43% to 47%.
Honestly, it's a good sign for me. Not that it's that significant, but just that he's still able to continue reaching the circle, right?
Yep.
That's important as you get older. So, love that.
66.5% C2 in reg last year. He's at 70% this year. So, again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Marginal improvements, sure, but they matter.
Yes.
Pretty much equivalent circle 1 putting, 87%. The difference really has been the circle 2 putting. And he goes from 71st last year at 23.6% to 34% this year, which is good for 5th. It's literally his best stat relative to the field.
Yep.
And so he has this thing, which is that he's good at everything. It's what made him great in the past, and
Yep.
it's what can get him wins now in 2025. Even if he doesn't have, I think 10 years ago, he was in the top 5% of distance throwers, right?
Sure.
And now he's not. I don't know where he lands in that. I mean, he still throws plenty far, but he's not in the top tier anymore. But that's okay because he's super accurate. He's still giving himself a look on most holes. And it's not like holes are designed to be only birdieable by Gannon Burr and Anthony Barella.
Mm-hmm. Right. 11% difference in circle two putting is what? It's 4 strokes a tournament sometimes more. Like 4 to 8 strokes a tournament, depending on how much you're putting. It's a massive, massive deal. And those strokes matter. And they don't just, matter in the context of like the actual strokes, but the overall kind of game that you get to play. And
let's flash it back to 2019.
okay.
Fairway hits, 81%. Basically the same.
Basically the same.
Circle 1 putting, 85%. Basically the same. Circle 2 putting, 30%. Actually worse than he's putting this year. I think the difference is definitely in the C1 and C2 in reg. He was 55 and 78.
So he has dropped off a little.
And again, to compare that to this year, he's at 47 and 70. Like, he was, and obviously the tour mix is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
The courses are different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to try to dig into the details there, but he was like way out in front of everybody else. Ricky was second best, playing some of his best disc golf, and he was at 51.72. That's a little bit more comparable to what McBeth is doing now. Eagle was at 49.71. So, McBeth, I think, clearly was playing better in 2019 than he's playing now.
What
but
were those numbers real quick?
Massively different.
Yeah. What were those numbers from 2019?
For McBeth?
Yeah.
55.78.
Gannon is 55 and 74.
Wow.
So for context, right? Like there you go. That's and here's the other difference. Gannon's also an 89% C1X putter, with a 35% C2 putter.
Gannon is this is why we think Gannon could be the GOAT.
Right.
It's not just random, like, oh, he's winning a lot. I mean, obviously there's a lot of things need to happen, but the level of play at a young age, when he's not even into his prime, assuming he stays healthy, which is a big assumption, he is putting up the numbers that are winning numbers throughout time immemorial
Yes.
in disc golf.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's spectacular. And so, I think the combination of Paul's just not quite at the same level as 2019. He thinks he can get there. The problem is that getting there still wouldn't be enough to make him the best player in the world again. It would make him more competitive and get him more wins. But the field is deeper.
It's going to be fascinating to see if he can parlay this. Now, let me give you a counterpoint because you kind of gave I think the take that I have for the most part, but Josiah in the Discord, who's a brilliant statistician, thinker about disc golf,
works on the fandom survey.
Yeah. He says, this is a post from the Discord. Is this a top 5 win for Paul McBeth's lifetime legacy? I'm trying to wrap my head around the recency bias versus how significant this feels in the Burr emergent era. The combination of extending the period of time that McBeth has wins on tour by over 2 years and winning a head-to-head matchup against the undisputed best player does volumes for his legacy. No longer is the McBeth won events until Burr entered his prime storyline overshadowing McBeth's dominant years. Prior to this event, since Burr, quote, entered his prime, which I am saying was the end of the 2022 season when he took down his first major at USDGC.
Remember, Paul won Worlds that year.
Yes. McBeth has 0 Elite Series and major wins with Burr in the field. In that time, Burr has 15 wins. Only finished in front of Gannon in 18% of shared starts, which was 44 tournaments. And he's finished in front of Gannon never in the majors in 10 starts.
That's wild.
And Josiah says this win just feels bigger than a regular Elite Series win when framed in a legacy context.
If Paul can convert this into something more, I completely agree. But never before have I think in any sport have we seen such a clean eras break between one dominant to another figure or team in sports. Literally, he goes, Paul wins Worlds in 2022, goes, thanks, folks. Gannon wins USDGC, and that was it. And then we've been in the Ice Age ever since. And it's crazy. It's the clean break feels so wild. And it's obviously been facilitated because oftentimes you have, I think of Mahomes got really good, but Brady still won a Super Bowl and was playing well. And so it usually feels like there's that overlap. And it just so happened that McBeth's injury coincided with the same time that Gannon came about, that it really didn't feel like we had very long of either you usually have a gap. It's oh yeah, you had one GOAT and then there's a gap and then you have, oh, here's the new GOAT, right? This is the next great generational player. Or there's the overlap. It's oh, you still have one generational player and then the new one comes in and they're working their way into it. Clean, several month break, severance, and then we've changed eras. If Paul converts this into something, it could drastically change the narrative around that.
Man, pretty awesome. And what an exciting round. It's easy to get caught up in the sweep of talking about this. I did see somebody in the Discord was talking about is this a McBattle? Is this a McBurtle? Comping this to European Open with Eagle and Paul, and I'm going to pump the brakes on that because that was a level of disc golf that we may not see much ever. Those two guys were playing so unbelievably well, and it was at a major. At a major, with the storyline around Eagle's injury, and just an electric level of play. We didn't get that. This is a little sloppy, right? There were mistakes. This was not 1080 rated rounds. This was not Ricky versus Gannon at last year's Tour Championship round 2.
No.
This was a good round for sure. A very exciting round because of the swings, but because of, we're talking about double bogeys coming into play as part of the swings, which is exciting, but is not necessarily the truly elite level of play that we've grown to expect from Gannon Burr. But what it was crazy. It was crazy. McBeth comes in with a one-shot lead. he opens it up to a 4-shot lead through 4 holes. And then, it's you're starting to go, oh, well, Paul's going to walk this in. And then Gannon skips it in for eagle on the 8th, 2-shot swing. And then you're like, okay, well, now we're back in it. And then Gannon takes a lead on hole 12, but then immediately gives it back with the double bogey on 13. And, Gannon gets the eagle on 16 to keep his hopes alive. I mean, wow. 5 eagles for Gannon. Kyle Klein has a throw in. This is some of the best, most fun,
it was fun to watch.
Card disc golf in a while.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. Gannon threw that in, and I was like, does Paul just get flashbacks, just like watching players throw in when he's up and should be able to start walking away, and players just start throwing discs in from crazy distances. Just shake a little bit. It really felt. I thought when that happened, I thought Gannon was gonna win. I thought that was it. I was like, oh, here it comes. Right, Gannon's back on the box. Good luck, everybody. That's the momentum he needed. But props to Paul. It was an exciting weekend.
It really was. And let's see. I'm just looking up the Jomez numbers because I feel like this is gonna do some numbers, right?
This is gonna do numbers.
105,000 on the front 9 final round right now. Posted, I don't know, sometime yesterday. I don't know when
Monday
it got
morning.
posted.
Yeah.
But this was elite live disc golf. This is as good as it gets. I already know that. I mean, sure, the Jomez will be good, but it's not gonna have that same sizzle.
This I will say. This
Brian
is
and
the
Nate
one.
were fun.
Brian and Nate were fun. They were very fun. This is the kind of tournament that Jomez thrives on, though.
That is true.
When everyone else falls off and it's just 2 players at the top, that's where Jomez does its best. That's the best time for Jomez.
And you're getting fun shots from Raven and Kyle the whole round.
Right. Yes. That this is actually. This is what I'm going to push back a little bit. I think if you go watch if you were able to avoid the spoilers and go watch Jomez, I think you get the full experience.
You know what? That's a great point.
Yeah. Sorry. It's
Cole Redalen, I feel bad for him because in another weekend, Cole Redalen might be one of the headline stories.
Not this weekend.
Sorry, dude. But hey, shout out to Cole. 12 down final round, is able to drive the green on hole 1.
Yeah, that video's crazy.
For an eagle. He is on the podium for the first time in a long time. I'm actually going to look it up. Can you give a guess, Josh? When's the last time Cole Redalen was on the podium?
I'm going to say it's his win at Ledgestone.
Was that more recent than the Worlds? I think so.
That's my guess. My guess is the win at Ledgestone. Because I thought that's when the back injury, I thought he got that win and then had to took some time off because of his back or his hip.
Nope. It was Portland 2024. He played amazing that weekend.
Okay.
He threw some incredible shots that weekend. He finished second.
Okay.
This is his 3rd podium since Ledgestone win. D-Glow. I forgot, he was right there at Worlds in 2023.
3.
But then he fell off, remember?
Yeah.
He had that really bad round at Fox.
A lot of the podiums haven't been in contention either, which I think makes it a little bit harder to remember.
Yeah.
This weekend, he was nowhere near sniffing the top of this tournament.
7th podium for Redalen. First time over 1050 since Open in Austin of last year as an event rating. Just the 6th time in his career doing that. So just giving some shout to Cole. It'd be great. He's been dealing with his injury and it's really hampered his game. But maybe this is him starting to come out of that. That'd be huge because the talent level is through the ceiling with this kid.
Yeah. We were talking a lot about the work that he was doing. So hopefully he can get it right and get that injury taken care
Just a couple quick notes on McBeth. This is, as mentioned, his first win in more than 2 years. He led the tournament in Circle 1 in regulation, Circle 2 in regulation, part percentage, and went 83 and 60 on the putting green. Like, this is what you got to do to win at this point.
Yep.
And it's the first time McBeth won with Gannon in the field since his World Championships win.
So cool.
Wow.
Yeah, because Gannon did not go to PCS, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Paul right now. He's going to join us next right here on the Upshot, and we're going to get his perspective on this first win in 2 years. Stay with us. It's the Upshot. The Upshot is presented by Pound Disc Golf, makers of the best bags in the sport, and they're going fast, folks. The only Octothorpe colorways left right now are Casey White and Kevin Jones signature bags. They also have one colorway in the Octahall right now, the turquoise and navy. The clay Rufus is available, and you can pre-order a blackout Rufus. But if you don't hustle over there, you might see all these sell out, and you're going to have to wait until they restock. They're going to have the Royale Cheese Bundle back soon. So if you are waiting more for the holiday season, I think you'll have a chance to get in then. But if you want to get your bag right now, now's a chance to get in before you're going to be forced to do a custom pack builder. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because you can get exactly what you want. And hey, you might even get named valedictorian over on the Pound Facebook page. Go to pounddiscgolf.com and check out your options today. Joining us now on the Upshot is the 2025 LWS Open at Idlewild champion Paul McBeth. Paul, great to have you back on the pod. Congrats.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me back.
It's been a little over 2 years since your last win, and at some point we caught your audio late in that final round saying, "I'm back," to your caddy. How back are you right now?
Well, it's funny is I don't know why I said that. I heard someone else say that or saw someone say that, but I don't know what it was about. I'm definitely not saying like, "Oh, I'm back," but I feel like it. But I wouldn't say that during the round. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We've never really seen you go head to head against Gannon. We haven't had this, battle to the finish between the greatest player of the last 15 years and the best player of the last, let's call it 3-ish years. What was it like to battle with Gannon? And it was so cool to see his picture on Instagram of the two of you now and then.
Yeah, it was really fun. Gannon's kind of talkative compared to other people you get into a battle with. And that whole card actually, with Raven and Kyle, it's a very talkative card. So it didn't feel like there was really a whole lot of pressure. Obviously there's the final round pressure you're battling, but not until we started to bogey and make mistakes. And that's when it really got intense. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And it's not his fault that we haven't been battling. It's been my fault. So it felt good to be up there, and we kind of separated ourselves from the field a bit. And it really made it feel like it was a head-to-head battle from beginning to end.
Gannon throws in. You finally get some separation, and then he throws in the skip shot that's just a crazy shot, and then very quickly thereafter takes the lead. What's going through your head at that point when you finally feel like you've got a cushion, and then he does something like that?
It seems like there's always something like that. Like I had 5 eagles for the tournament. I didn't have one. I barely had a look for one. So yeah, it's not a surprise anymore, when people do this kind of stuff. And then you had Kyle a little later in the round. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just, it was wild because it went in and we couldn't hear it because the gallery near us was already clapping because it got around the corner and that's a good shot. And then like one of the scorekeepers came running up the hill and he was like yelling, it's in. And then the crowd behind us cheered again. So, yeah, so it was an exciting moment. But then for us to both miss the next hole was pretty pretty embarrassing. You know, he teed the hardest hole in the course and then parred the probably easiest hole in the course right after. So, yeah, it's becoming normal to get into these battles and those things happen to me.
Well, it feels like you've had some high-profile spots this year where you've played really well through the early rounds. You come into the final round close to the lead or even with a share of the lead, and you haven't played your best in the final round. Did you feel like you did anything different or that anything was different about this Idlewild round and being able to close it out?
I think just knowing to give myself opportunities on the green. I feel really confident putting the disc right now. So it's really takes a lot of pressure off putting it inside, 25 feet or something like that. Now I could just put it anywhere 60 right, 60 left, and I feel like I have a really good chance of making it. So it kind of gives you a bigger window of mistake, and it takes a lot of pressure off. So I think that's been a big thing, and I think that's kind of why Gannon's been playing so well, and you see that because his range is, if he's using his mid-range, 140 feet at times. So it gives you a lot of confidence off the tees, off the fairways. Yeah, I think that's been my biggest, takeaway is just putting it 40, 50, 60, and I'm okay with it. And it takes a lot of stress off and it takes a lot of added pressure. And, it just gives a lot of confidence when you have that on the putting green.
What's changed since the beginning of the season? Because I recall several instances that there were putts when you were closer to the lead, circle 2 putts, and you missed. And it really felt like a putt that you would have made in previous years. It feels like you're back to that form now. Have you felt a difference over the course of the season?
I think, yeah, definitely. You can see it in the putt. You can see the speed. You can see all sorts of things. And I think it was just getting over the fact that these baskets, they catch pretty much anything. So just throw them as hard as you want and let the baskets do their job. You don't have to be delicate. They almost splash out more when you're trying to, have speed control. So it's just hit them hard and let them stick. And I think it's just getting over that kind of mindset of I need to place it in there. And, your range goes twice as far when you don't have to worry about speed control. So I've kind of just accepted that and gone with it. And when you're putting that hard and that confident, you don't really miss the basket too often. So even if I do miss, it's catching something.
Last season, you putted a little under 24% from Circle 2. So far this season, you're at 34%. So that takes you from 71st to 5th on tour. Putting seems to be kind of this elusive thing at times. It gets hot, it gets cold. How have you managed to refine your elite level Circle 2 putting? And what do you think was the problem last year?
Well, I mean, people tend to forget that I didn't play for 8 months, after I tore my labrum. So, putting, it's a consistency thing. You take 8 months off of something like that and you're one of the top putters in the world, you're going to lose that stroke. So I had to regain it and find it. And, it was just like kind of that touch thing. I didn't have it for a while. So I was trying to learn on the go. And it was just, it ended up being a confidence thing as well. So I think the speed thing's probably the biggest thing though, as far as C2. I'm not worried about blowing past it. I'm just, or trying to drop it in from 60 feet. I'm just going to throw it hard at the basket and try to hit the basket. So I think that's honestly the biggest change.
Charlie already referenced the time frame between this and your last win, which was PCS in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
This is it's a 3-round elite series, but it feels like more than that. How do you perceive the importance of this win in your career?
It felt really good. I mean, because it was against Gannon. He's the number 1 player in the world right now. He's the current world champion. He's got a gold medal from the World Games. I don't have one of those. I don't think any current player has one of those besides Missy. And he was on a 3-tournament winning streak if you count the World Games. He was at the top of his game right now. So it's special to win against him. playing really good. Yeah, we both had our mistakes in the final round, but we both went 12-13, and we were pretty far from the rest of the field at that point. So um, it feels really good. I wish it was 4 rounds. It'd be cooler to have a 4 round, or if it was a major. But we're getting to those tournaments now, so we'll see if we have another moment.
When did you feel like you had kind of taken control of this round? Because you were up early and then you lost the lead. But did it not feel like it was settled until the final upshot on 18?
Well, it's interesting because every one of my rounds was very similar. I birdied the first 4 holes, par 5, birdie 6. 7 was kind of birdie sometimes, par sometimes. Never got 8, never got 10, and never got 17. So like there were moments that he could definitely gain strokes on me, and it was almost guaranteed if he got those holes. So I knew after 17, having a 1-stroke lead, that if I birdie 18, I win. And I told Schick that right after we both tapped in. I said, all right, birdie wins it. He did throw his drive way out there to where he could have a chance to throw it in, but I kind of had a strong feeling that if I got that last one, that I would have it. So I didn't know until that second shot on 18. And honestly, I didn't even know, with these baskets that we were playing on from there.
Get them.
Yeah.
These baskets, they shouldn't be on tour, right? I mean, like seems straightforward to me.
Yeah, they are not the best at catching, but then when you put those bases on a little too tight, they kind of shoot out extra fast. So I think those bases aren't helping their cause, those little square ones. So anytime I had a square base, I knew there was a chance that it would spit right back to me or cut right through the back. And if you go look at footage, I'm sure you could see the same holes doing the same things. The one that I had it on, and then there were a couple others. So I think they need to figure out those bases on top of some of these baskets.
Do you feel like you got a spit out on 12, or do you feel like you missed it?
It was a touch left, but it caught pole. I mean, it should stay most of the time. I mean, it went through the pocket of the chains. It's not like these are Mach 3s. Mach 3s that cuts through. We're 2025.
Hopefully the standardized basket keeps coming and we get those revisions.
Yeah, I think speed control is something that putting's lost, but there's no consistency in the baskets either. So,
do you? I think this is kind of like the mixed opinion on the debate about that idea of speed control. Do you care that speed control's been lost, or would you prefer just all the baskets catch everything, and then everybody just gets to drain putts from wherever?
No, I like having the speed control.
You like the speed control element?
Yeah, I do. I mean, sure, we're making longer putts, but putting's getting easier, in my opinion, when you start to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, whatever the fans say, whatever's more entertaining and going to get more people to watch, I guess that's what we'll go with. At the end of the day, we're entertainers, right?
It's true. What is your thought on this year's European swing and Worlds over in Europe, and just your experience? I know you've been playing over there for a long time, so you've kind of seen the growth firsthand. What was it like to see the massive crowds and everything going on in Estonia and Finland?
No, it's fun. It's amazing. I think the big difference is like Estonia, for example, is you don't need a car. You just get to Tallinn, and then you can scooter, you can take their bolt, or you can walk. And even for food, everything's right there. And public transportation, a lot of people take the bus. We don't have that in the U.S. We don't have that kind of comfort or that luxury. It's like mandatory. You need to
come on down to New York City. The tour can make a stop in Central
Tell me
Park.
where the course is. Yeah. So like that's so convenient in a lot of these spots because it just, I don't know, it's just a different feeling. And then they publicize disc golf all over the cities. Like Tallinn's their big city there, and Tampere is one of I think the top 3 or second biggest in the Finland, and there's advertising all over the city. So they just do it different there. And there's people there that might be seeing disc golf for the first time ever because they saw these posters or these advertisements. So yeah, the crowds are different. You're treated different. Yeah, it's really special. But I honestly, kind of got that feeling too here in Kentucky. It was pretty cool as far as the crowd. It was a different feeling than normal. So that was nice. And yeah, I think the European swing, the only thing I would have changed is have a major at the front, major at the end, not back to back.
Yep, I completely agree. European Disc Golf Festival, I know we're a little ways removed, but I'd love to get your thoughts on the tournament venue and the course, and your thoughts about using that, playing Worlds in Estonia in 4 years.
Yeah, that'll be like, I don't know. I heard there's another course, but realistically, it could look something like what the Ledgestone is like. When they had Worlds there, you got Eureka, which would be the festival, and then the other wooded course, which would be like Northwood. So I could see it feeling similar to that Worlds, except we have better facilities at Estonia. So, but there is no other course right now, as far as I know.
Right.
So, but that's kind of, if I was to compare it to a Worlds, it'd probably feel similar to the whatever, that Pura one.
Yeah.
Where do you feel that your game is right now? Like, let's flash back to 2019. You had an incredible season, one of your best ever. And like, where are you in 2025 relative to the 2019 version of yourself?
I think I just knew my distance drivers better then. That's probably the biggest thing. And then the consistency side was definitely there more. So that's, if I can get my consistency side down, I'll probably feel pretty close. But I need to get in control of my distance drivers like I did back then. That's the biggest takeaway for sure.
Do you see that as, like, do you think that's feasible?
Yeah, I don't think I throw any shorter. I don't think there's many things that are different from then versus now. Honestly, the tour is easier now on the body because there's a lot more gaps between the events. The courses are a little longer, but it's like the start of the year was week on, week off, week on, week off, week on, week off. And if you wanted to do more, you could, but we didn't have that back in the day. It was always on the road. So I think on the body, it's a bit easier.
You have a lot of obligations between the foundation and, to be fair, with unrelated disc golf things, right? You've got your family, and so you have a lot going on, obviously, and you still have played really, really well this season. But I'm curious to know where you see your competitive element of your life, and how that, like, the importance that plays. Is it secondary to the foundation, for example? Is it secondary to other things, or is it really like competitive is still the most important disc golf related thing to me?
Yeah, competitive is definitely the most important thing. The foundation is great. I'm very fortunate to have a team that runs that, and they run all the things behind the scenes, and they're the ones that get these courses lined up, and they think of these cool ideas on how to do fundraising and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be able to do that on my own. Like, if I was running that, it'd be 100% of my focus. So very fortunate to have a strong team behind that. The only difference is obviously with my wife and my son is I have obligations there. So I have to be more, I guess, more organized with my practice time, when I'm going to do it, when I'm not going to do it, because this job is it. The hard part is because you're gone a lot. Like, early part of the season, it was okay because you fly in for a tournament, you fly out. You're gone a week, home a week, gone a week, home a week. But then it's nice because I get 3 to 4 months off at the same time to be with them all the time. So there is that bonus there. So it is hard at times, but sometimes they do come out. Like they went out to Ledgestone. And they weren't actually supposed to be here for Kentucky, but her family ended up testing positive for COVID. So they ended up staying an extra week, and it just worked out, so pretty crazy. But yeah, they were there for that. So, I was able to win with them there. So it doesn't take too much away.
When you look ahead to the rest of the season, you feel like you're locked in and ready to keep winning? Like, do you think you can get? It's I think 2022 is the last time you had multiple wins in a year.
Uh-huh.
Does that seem like reasonable to you at this point with the stretch of tournaments coming up?
Yeah, I definitely think so. It'll be Deglo is definitely going to be the longest tournament left, and then we go up into the woods. Vermont, Maple Hill, USDGC is more open, and then we come to Lynchburg, Virginia, which I think it's both courses this year for the tour finals. But yeah, I think so. I just need to get my body feeling good for Deglo. I got rear-ended on Wednesday before the tournament, so my back is feeling it a bit, but we're here. We're good.
Yeah, I'd say you're pretty good.
Yeah. I was feeling a little bit in my head round one at the end, but it was all good.
Look, speaking of looking ahead, we have, and it's been the conversation for the past, since 2022, when you won the World Championships. You're one away from the record. Every major has to, like, do you think about that every time a major comes around? Like, this could be the one?
It's always a question that gets asked, like, oh, this could be the one, this could be the one. I just wish they would ask it later in the tournament, like when it's actually close. But I mean,
Okay.
you have storylines. It makes sense. But yeah, I definitely want to get that. I mean, I want to win every major I signed up for. So whether it's 18 or 25, whatever number we get to, I want to win them all. So that's the goal.
Well, if you're in contention at USDGC, Charlie, are you going to be on the ground at USDGC?
I am.
Okay. Charlie, I'm sending you after Paul if he's in contention before final day to ask the question.
All right.
That was his request, that we ask it later in the tournament. So
Copy. I'll pass the question to whoever's asking questions in the clubhouse.
there we go.
So let's see. I feel like it's been a while since we've had you on. I want to ask you other stuff. Like, how do you feel like the tour is evolving right now? Do you like the pace of play in terms of how often there are tournaments? You think things are in a healthy spot coming out of this kind of like lower period post-COVID, where we saw a little bit of a contraction in the industry?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of funny because I was just looking at like tournaments, and I feel like I've been playing all year, and I've only played, I think, 15 tournaments or something. But it feels like it's been 40. So it's crazy to see how slow it's going. Like the time seems so far out there. Like we started in technically February, and we're here in August, and I've only played 15 tournaments, I think, or 16. So like for that much time to only have 16 tournaments is crazy to me. And that's, I think, because it's week on, week off kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to look at it that way, because we do have 6 more tournaments or 5 more tournaments left in the next 6 or 7 weeks. So it does get pretty jam packed at the end, but, yeah, I think it's a good pace. And I think things have been going well post-COVID. Like people are showing up to a lot of tournaments, but I hope they just keep separating the events further and further from each other. Get different crowds, different people, allow people to travel to them.
You mean geographically separate them?
Yeah. They announced New Orleans, which is going to be cool next year.
That's really cool.
I've never been there. I've always wanted to go there at least once. So it'll be fun to play there. I've seen pictures of that course and seen the trees. So I hope we continue to do that with the tour and get to these spots and get the staples as well, because I think there's probably, 6 staple events on the tour.
Do you count Idlewild in that mix?
Idlewild's one that'll probably come and go, in my opinion.
You
Just
think?
like Jonesboro, Kansas City, like those ones, because there are so many events that are close to that area, they could probably move it around. But also Idlewild, I think, is going to need some adjustments on their course too, because I know when I won it back in 2018, it was a far tougher course back then compared to what it is now.
Because of where the players were in terms of skill, or because it's gotten beat in?
It's pretty open now. It's pretty open feeling course compared to what it once was.
I remember pre-COVID, this felt like one of the hardest wooded tracks. Like this was like known as like the brutally hard wooded track, and now it's just like a fun worded tournament to watch.
Yeah, it feels pretty open now compared to what it used to be. And I mean, a lot could be due to the new holes that they've added. You know, out in the field, they're pretty much open. So, and it's probably because of spectators,
Sure.
realistically, so they can get more spectators. And they've opened up a lot of areas for spectators, but that's opened up a lot of room for, shot slam. Like honestly, 18, my goal was like just end up left. If you end up left, you'll have a line because they cleared it out so much for spectators. So I got lucky on the last shot and I had a shot from over there. But the game plan was just end up left, if anything.
You have, as a player who, with your own disc line and commands, I think that you both experience the trends in disc sales, but you also probably represent, like, you probably get to see like the best side of it for your line. And so I'm curious to know, Charlie asked generally about the kind of post-COVID like bounce back. I'm curious in terms of just your disc sales and royalties. Do you feel like they are still above, are they above pace of where you expected them pre-COVID? Are you like, where are those at relative to where you expected them, where they were at the height of COVID, and that kind of like trajectory?
I honestly, I'm unsure as far as raw numbers.
Okay.
Because pre-COVID, like my royalties were different than post-COVID. Because I'd just come out with my line of disc, and then I had like my signature line with Discraft. So it was like 4-to-1 kind of numbers, like what I would get per disc, and now it's 1-to-1. So I don't know raw numbers. And then that kind of happened when I went guaranteed versus royalty based contract. So yeah, I haven't seen the numbers in a minute because I only see them quarterly,
Okay.
and so we're getting close to, I think, third quarter. But I don't know the 19 numbers off the top of my head.
What discs?
But go ahead, sorry.
No, finish your thought.
I was just gonna say, but I mean, you guys see how popular Luna is right now, so
It's cooking.
Yeah.
What discs, and maybe, probably the Luna is in this conversation. What discs have been throwing well for you in the last couple months?
I would say Athena and Buzz SS are the top two right now.
Buzz SS looked amazing this weekend.
Yeah, Buzz SS, you can shape it really well. The Buzz, honestly, is, and I think it happens with the tour courses we play, is we don't play in the woods as much, so it's hard to beat them in and get them to that flight that you see. So Buzz SS is kind of like a well-seasoned Buzz, so I can just pop those in and out when I need. And then my Buzzes I barely throw them because they're kind of overstable. But yeah, Buzz SS was a big one this week. I didn't throw the Melita as much. I threw it a lot last week, but not as much this week. And then it's Athena, Onyx, and Force. Those are pretty much the go-tos. My only distance driver right now is the Force. But I'm going to test out the Captain Thrasher actually a lot when I get up to D-Glow. Missy gave me some, and this year's are pretty overstable. Pretty overstable. I was surprised, and she said last year's were a little bit glidier. So if that's true, then they can be kind of the exact seasoned forces I've been looking for.
The glidier or the stable ones this year?
The last year's model. This year is like really overstable. I'd have to work them in. But if anyone's looking for a beefy 11 speed, let's definitely check those out.
When you look at like D-Glow, MVP, GMC, do you like the way, I guess not D-Glow is a plus, but GMC MVP, do you like the structure of the playoff events? Like, it doesn't feel like it feels terribly impactful for people like you who are at the top, top 10, top 15. It doesn't really feel impactful. Do you wish it felt more like a playoff event for you guys, or are you just happy to be there and ready to go to the Tour Championship after?
Yeah, I don't even know what the playoff part means, I guess. Like, what does it mean? So I don't know the difference.
That's just like, okay, so
the short answer is you can now win or like play, if you play really well at one of the playoff events, you can advance to the next tournament, including advancing into the Tour Championship. But that's basically all that it is, besides being more points for everybody else.
Yeah, but you have to qualify for it or something, right? Because it's like they don't send your invite until like midway through the season.
Right, but it's like it's top 100 and top 80, I think. So if you've played a couple events for the year,
I'm sure they're trying to build something with it, but I don't understand what it means right now.
Do you wish that there was a playoff event that felt like playoffs for you and top players?
I feel like, let's say they pay out, like the first playoff event, they pay out 70% of the field. And then if you don't make cash, you don't move on. And then the next one, they pay 40% of the field. If you don't cash, you don't move on. And then you make the tour finals. At least that's what I would think a playoff would be. You got to get eliminated somehow.
I think that's pretty close to the numbers, isn't it, Charlie?
But
is it too soft?
But you don't get eliminated.
But it's not. Yeah, and you could already basically have landed a spot in the Tour Championship, regardless of how you do in the playoffs.
Yeah, and it feels like playoffs too. If you get you should almost get bye and paid in some way too. I don't know. That's what other sports do. If you're the number one seed, you get a bye to whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I think they're still trying to figure it out. So they're just doing things like this.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Tour Championship as a tournament and maybe the structure of it?
Was it a tournament last year too? You're saying there? When was the last time it was different?
Well, I guess, I mean, they've kind of changed the format a bunch. Last year, they did starting strokes, I think, for the first time. And then they're going to do that again this year. Obviously, they moved it out of Charlotte, which is a notable difference and is probably going to make it a lot more fans come out, I would think.
Yeah, I think I like the strokes. I think people have earned them throughout the year. I think that's cool. And yeah, the top players are going to have more strokes, but I mean, it's a season long event, the Tour Championship. Like, it's not like it's just a one-off kind of event. Like, it's not like we qualified for it and we got in. Yes, we did qualify, but there's a reason there's the points, and they matter. So, I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. And, yeah, I'm glad it's a 4-rounder. I think that's what makes the strokes matter, not the elimination. I think one year they did, all right, you're going to get strokes and then we're going to wipe it away for the final round or something, final 2 rounds. That was kind of weird. So yeah, I think it's good how it is. We'll see how it goes this year. I think it's the second year doing it that way. And if it's kind of Gannon wins by 20, if he's the number one seed, then it might change. We'll see. That's kind of how I feel like they're going to go with it and judge it.
Yeah, makes sense. When you compare the tour today, top players versus say 2015 to 2019, what do you think is different about the game and the top level of play and the players who are there?
Well, so there's in the top 20, there's probably a handful that are still there from 2015. Did you say 2015 and 2019?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's probably still a handful that are still there who we're in our early 20s, which is kind of where all the players are now, is their early 20s, early to mid 20s. And then there's the ones that are in their 30s now. So, I mean, the field was really good back then, and the ones that were great back then are still around now. And now there's just more great on top of the great players. So it's just getting deeper. Field's getting deeper. And I know when I first started, YouTube was barely a thing. So we didn't have as much to go off of online as they do now. So they're getting better quicker, in my opinion, now. Because there's so much content to take and learn from. So I think that's what's built a lot of the players we see today is they've watched it all, they've seen it all, to where some of us didn't see it. Like I never saw Mike Mosier play. Like that's just a random name that came to my mind, but he got talked about not long ago. Like I've never seen him play. I've heard his name forever. Never got to see him play, and people like that. But they were almost the same. They were still playing when I was in my 20s, and they were, mid to late 30s. So never seen footage of them, never seen them throw in person. So.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
you can name. Let's just go Luke Sampson. Anyone can find 50 videos on Luke right now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what event are you most looking forward to coming up? U.S. Championships?
which one?
USDGC?
That's definitely on the list. I'm looking forward to D-Glow. Going up there to Discraft. Worlds is going to be there next year. I don't know if we're playing both courses or just toboggan this year. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one. I technically have a week off this week, but week offs aren't week offs. So I'm gonna get out, throw, get ready, and then I'll be up in Michigan probably Friday sometime.
Is D-Glow special because of your history there? Because it's at the near the Discraft headquarters, or is it just a tournament you've always liked?
It's a very different tournament. I mean, the courses, I really enjoy the course. I know some people don't. It used to be one of those courses that was just no OB anywhere, and now they're really tightening it up, similar to kind of what you mentioned, USDGC feel to it with the string and stuff like that. I mean, Discraft is there, so it's fun to go look at some discs, figure some things out, and go play the toboggan. And toboggan, it's a tough track. A lot of people complain that it's a lot of walking, but I've never had an issue with it. But yeah, it's a lot of familiar faces going to Discraft. Little guy's gonna run in here soon, but it's yeah, I enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to all the events. These are all fun ones coming up.
I think the last thing here that I have is, do you feel like getting this win against Gannon is going to impact how people look at your career overall, or will this just ultimately be washed away by time and people will talk about how many total Elite Series you won and the majors and everything else, but they won't really remember this one?
I think anytime people do something one time, they think it's a fluke. So I don't want to just do it once.
Spoken like Paul McBeth. Awesome. Any final thoughts on Idlewild as an event? It seemed like it had a great crowd this year, and I don't want to give it away, but in our Pursewatch segment that we recorded a little bit ago, we were like, whoa, like this tournament pays pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, the crowd definitely showed up. I don't know how many tickets or how many people they can truly fit out there. It seemed like it was a pretty big gallery for a wooded course. And they do a really good job of taking care of like the little things. Like, I don't know if you looked around hole 1, but they like planted all sorts of stuff around it. Like they did that a couple days before the event started. So they really care about the details. All the greens had wood chips. They made them all look nice. So they really care about the details. Not all the tournaments do that. So it is really cool to see what they're doing there. And like you said, the money must have been there. So I hope they can continue to make that course more difficult and do more with it. Because unfortunately, I think it is one of the smaller ones and one that the tour could push to the side to put something else there. But hopefully they get a fighting chance and continue to build on that property, because yeah, it is a fun spot to go to. And it's actually pretty close to Cincinnati. A lot of people don't know that. It's really close.
Yeah, it's like 20, 30 minutes from the airport.
Yeah, it's not far at all. Yeah. Well, to the airport, it's way close, like 10, 15 minutes. Yeah.
Airport is on the other side of the state border.
Oh, the planes go, like, you can feel like you can hit a disc with them. Yeah.
Well, trust me, we hear them.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Paul. Great to have you on. Congrats on the win, and looking forward to seeing what you can do the rest of the year.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Paul McBeth with us here on the Upshot. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Upshot. Thanks again to Paul for stopping by. Josh, I find it amazing to hear Paul basically say, if I can lock it in with my distance drivers, I'm right where I was in 2019. I don't know if I believe that, but maybe I do. It's not like the guy isn't still able to play at the absolute highest level and shoot 1070 plus rated rounds. Like he's doing that.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I don't know if we've given McBeth enough grace with his injuries.
Yeah.
He had serious injuries. And he did between the ankle and the shoulder or the labrum, like he had really serious injuries that like he kept kind of playing through. And so we never really gave him the like, oh my gosh, like McBeth is like McBeth, like what's McBeth going to be like at post injury, right? We never had that conversation. We never, and we also don't talk about like injury recovery and disc golf is, and maybe Paul's is, if anybody's is different, it's Paul's, but you know, it's just not the same as like the NFL where they have like world-class team just always available for their rehab all the time. Now Paul's might be, but he's right. Like the bounce back from an injury, especially in this, you know, the idea of like a putting stroke, for example, that's a lot of effort. That takes work. It takes time. And it's just hard. It was hard to see, especially at his age, you know, what that was going to look like. And look out, folks, because if he's right, like we could be seeing something real special over the next couple months.
It'll be crazy if he like kept it up. I have to say, I'm like a little skeptical.
I am too.
I'm a little skeptical, but I will acknowledge that he has been flashing this level of play throughout the season, and he put it all together through multiple rounds. And you know, he talked about that's the C2 putting that unlocks it for him. It's like both the ability to actually make the putts, but also the pressure it takes off of upshots. Like I think that's genuinely true.
Oh, 100%. Like. Listen, I don't want to sound like presumptuous in any way, but I feel that in my game, right? When I'm putting well, it's the pressure that just disappears off driving is amazing. It's amazing, and so I think it's absolutely true. I think it's part of why like it feels a little bit like the Ohn recipe for success right now. But Paul doesn't throw as far as Gannon. Paul doesn't throw as far as AB does. He still throws far, but he doesn't throw like they do.
No.
And so he's having to make that up on the putting green, and he's doing it right now. It really does feel like an Ohn recipe of for success in some ways.
It's very interesting. I'm compelled to see if he will be able to keep it up. I mean, if he gets another win, it'd be an epic.
It would be an epic season.
All right, over in FPO, Ohn Scoggins continues the hot streak as she wins her second tournament in her last 3 events. And, of course, went to a playoff last week. She dominates here at Idlewild to win back-to-back in Kentucky. She wins by 7 shots over Missy Gannon, 18 down to 11 down. Josh, you know, Ohn is playing some of the best disc golf we've seen from her in a couple of years, it feels like.
This is the best stretch I've ever seen her in her career. Hands down. She's playing so well right now. And it's coming in a stretch that we know Ohn has played well at in the past. So the timing is fortuitous for sure for her. You're seeing an Ohn that like, I don't know, she is just so locked in right now. And she talks about the hard work at Worlds, and that's obviously paying off. But especially in a like right now with the weird state of FPO, Ohn is feasting on the fact that the division is not going to put any pressure on her.
Listen, when Ohn is putting like this, good luck.
Good luck.
Her putting this weekend, admittedly, a very mediocre by Ohn standard 74% C1X.
Sure.
But Josh, 62% circle 2 putting. 62%, 8 for 13. Absolutely canning some massive putts, including in that final round. There's no hope. There's no hope for anyone else, especially on a wooded course like this where it's like accuracy plus putting. That's why she dominated. I think she dominates this tournament, even if you got Silva here, Kristen here, Evelina here.
I agree. Yes.
She's winning.
I should clarify. I don't think that this win deserves an asterisk, right? This is not Ohn had a good tournament with a bad field. That is not at all the case, in my opinion, here for Ohn's win. It's more the sense that Ohn is winning by 7 strokes because nobody's here, right? I think she still wins, but without like the rest of the field, Ohn is just like just taking names, and like look out because the dog's coming for you.
Ohn shot a 10 down through 3 rounds here last year, so 7 shots better. They did make one of the holes easier.
But even if
like let's call it a full stroke.
Sure,
right?
give her 3 strokes.
She still shot better than last year.
Yeah.
I am like beginning to wonder whether Ohn is going to have enough in the tank down the stretch here to seriously push to win a Player of the Year award. Like, we have to start talking about that possibility. Obviously, that's helped a lot by the fact that she won Worlds, right? If this was just 2 random Elite Series, like, I'm not going there. But with Worlds and then a playoff loss, which, like, is close to being a win, right? Like, you have to, like, in your brain, you have to keep that as, like, almost a win because a playoff is a coin flip.
I actually struggle to not count like whenever players go to playoffs, I just count them as wins in my head, not the opposite. Yeah, so
right.
I
because
completely
you stroke play, right?
Yeah,
and they won. They tied for the win in stroke play.
They tied for the win,
and they have to have some way to decide who actually wins. But like in any given playoff hole, either player can win. It's like at best it's a 55-45 coin flip.
Right.
It's ace king versus queens, Josh.
That's right.
So, and then she comes back and she destroys everybody in what's admittedly like it is a weaker field. FPO's in a weird spot right now, but like, you got to give Ohn the credit for coming out and it's not like she got a cheapy win here. She obliterated everybody,
and it featured the American half of the Pody conversation.
All right, well, let's talk about the Pody conversation as it stands right now, because it has become fascinating. We came into Worlds, Josh, and we were ready to crown the winner, the number 1 player in the world, the leader in the Pody race, and then Ohn won, and it upset the apple cart, and now it's completely unclear. And Kristen DNF'd, and like, where are we right now in FPO? So we're going to pop the stats up on the screen for those watching on the YouTube. So you can take a look for yourself, and let's just start with some basics. We have 4 different major winners. No one has more than 1 major. Evelina, Ohn, Silva, and Missy each have won a major, and you got multiple players with 4 wins, both Holland and Silva, and then Kristen has 3. Evelina, Ohn, and Missy have 2. So there's a bunch of players who all have like some claim to having been the best player this season so far. So Josh, where else are you looking here to try to figure out a tiebreaker, and like what is the status?
Yeah. I have to consider major average finish as well, given that it's so evenly spread for one across the 4 different players. Guess what, Charlie? It doesn't make our lives that much easier. Kristen is an enigma because she has a 24th average finish if you count her DNF at Worlds. If you exclude her DNF at Worlds, she's 3.3. I would put her probably right around where the top players are if you give her like a 17th, for example, which is where she was when she DNF'd. That probably pushes her average somewhere in the ballpark of where your other top 2 players are, Holland and Evelina, who are both at 5.5. But there's one player who's beating them, and that's Silva Saarinen, which is a 4.75. Honestly, you have to consider the Silva the best player at the majors across the board, because whether you do it as a DNF or where Kristen was, it just seems likely that Silva's 4.75, 4.8 is going to be the best number that you're going to see out of this field. Ohn then has a 7.4, and Missy's average finish is 9.8. Missy at this point, so here's let's cover the other stats really quick. We'll hit DGPT standings. We feature the 1, 2, 3, and 4 players here, and then we drop down a little bit. Holland is at 1, followed by at 1854. Ohn is at 2 with 1682. Missy's at 3 with 1533. Silva's at 4 with 1505. I think this is really a testament to Silva with how close she is to the other players, because like the other Europeans drop off quite quickly just due to the volume that they're playing. Silva still playing a lot. And then you have Kristen, who is 6 in DGPT standings. She's at 1487. Honestly, feels pretty negligible in terms of points. She's 20 some odd points behind Silva. Not much. Like, she's still in the pack.
Yeah.
Evelina, 11th at 1018. That's a red mark against her Pody case. She has played the least of this group.
Yeah. I mean, she's
doubt.
part of it is that she's played less. And I mean, that's really, I guess, the story for her, isn't it?
It is.
Because
you have to
otherwise,
do more to overcome
like,
that.
major average finish, like, all in the same kind of realm.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think you have to count it against her at some point, right? The lack of competition.
Here's been my metric, Charlie, in the past. I don't ding a player who doesn't play as much as long as their DGPT points don't reflect a problem, right? So Evelina being 800 points behind Holland and 500 points nearly behind Kristen, that has to be a mark against her. Now, by the end, when you consider and calculate drops, because if you don't want to play for tournaments that are just going to get dropped anyway, I don't care, right? But if you plan your schedule around the number of events that actually count towards standings, and you finish in top 5 because you played that many events and no more, fine. That's fine by me. I don't have any. I'm not going to knock that against you. Right now, Evelina has to take the mark, though.
Season ends today. I'm giving it to Silva.
Yes,
I thought I was going to come in here and say Holland.
No, she can't without the major.
But I think the lack of a major win, plus the stretch of poor play that we've seen lately, her average finish is now a full point and a quarter behind Silva. Silva's average finish at majors and Elite Series is 3.9. Holland's is 5.25. They have an equal number of wins. Holland has one more podium, and obviously Holland has the better Pro Tour standings.
Right, but that's volume.
That's a little bit volume related. Some of Silva's wins, I think we could talk about being a little bit on the cheaper side because they were in Europe. But Silva's simply been the better start to finish player so far, right?
She has. I also want to say though, if you're going to asterisk Silva's wins, remember, because her first win was Ale against Kristen in that close battle. So I get you, it's a little bit weaker of a field. But if you're going to asterisk Silva's wins, I'm asterisking some of Holland's who played without the Europeans for most of her wins.
And let's if you want to talk about, okay, well, why is Silva lower on the Pro Tour standings? Well, it's availability, right? She's played less, and I think there's whatever European. It's also possible that Holland, and we didn't do this deep level analysis. Holland's played better at the plus events, kind of a thing, or Silva didn't play some of those.
I also think Holland's got enough great finishes that her bad stretch is just not being reflected right now in her points, and Silva is still climbing, right? Holland is reaching near the cap.
Yeah, you're getting near the threshold.
She's not going to go up from the regular season unless she wins. Without a win, Holland doesn't really move until we get to the playoffs, unless she still can take this plus event.
The biggest thing for me, Silva's major average is also better.
Exactly.
I don't know how you can give it to Holland right now.
Yeah.
Holland is still very much in the conversation, and I think those two are at the front of the pack. Ohn, however, Josh, is lurking.
Yes.
And if she continues to play well, if she gets a few more podiums, she'll probably need another win. I think she's going to need another win.
Absolutely.
But it's not like it's impossible to see her getting another win.
Nope.
The state of the sport right now, she's the best player in FPO at this moment. She and Silva, the best putters, have separated. The other players have kind of fallen by the wayside. I mean, Evelina's got the yips. Holland's dealing with something. Missy's playing okay, but Kristen's not even here.
Yeah. Here's what I want to do, Charlie. I want to talk about what it takes for each player you think to win the pody.
Okay.
Let's just walk down the list. Each player, what do they got to do? Holland.
One more win and solid play.
I'm going to qualify your solid play a little bit. Top 10 or one more win and has to be above Silva for the rest of the season.
Probably, unless if Silva doesn't get another win, I think one more Holland win as a tiebreaker might be enough, but it's there's
Not with the
question
major.
about the major, right?
Yeah. I think Holland needs to outplay Silva through the tail end of the season with a win. That's what I think is required for Holland to get this. Ohn.
Well, at least one more win, maybe two, and like continuing to be at the top of the podium week to week. Not a lot of room for error.
I agree. I think it either needs to be 2 wins or she needs to podium out with a win. For any discussion.
I think it absolutely requires at least one more win. Like that.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's a chance without another win.
No, she has to have another win. I think she has to podium out because I can't tell me that Ohn is the only one who's going to get a win on this list, right? The problem is that her competitors are also going to be getting wins. Right. So she has to get one.
The odds are that this group are going to win at least 80% of the remaining tournaments, right?
Charlie, dare you say a big 6? Because the last time we said that, the FPO field decided to break. So anyway.
I will say, in the Pro Tour standings, we have the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 6th ranked players, but not the 5th. The 5th is Ella. Ella's played really well. Yes. She's not in the podium conversation.
She's not enough wins.
In theory, if she went crazy and won 2 or 3 events to close out the year, including throw pink, okay, then she could play in. But she's not currently in the conversation.
Yes, agreed. Missy.
2 wins, and like really steady play, same kind of thing.
One of those wins has to be throw pink as well.
I probably agree with that.
I think she's far enough.
She does have a major though, Josh.
I know she does. 2 wins might do it, but again, if Missy gets 2 wins and Silva gets a win, it's not enough, right? I think that's why she needs throw pink to overcome the Silva Ohn, who also have majors. 2 wins might be enough for her to overcome Holland, but that requires that Ohn and Silva don't win again.
Yeah.
And so I think Missy's most likely path in order to the podium race is 2 wins, with 1 being throw pink and playing well the rest of the season. Silva.
Honestly, Silva can win if she just plays well. She doesn't need another win, I don't think. I mean, that's obviously very dependent on what happens with the other players, but I think if Silva is like top 5 the rest of the season, she is the current front runner.
Yeah. And here's the other thing I'll add. Silva wins throw pink, it's wraps. Calling it now.
I agree.
Silva wins throw pink, it's game over. Put your votes in. We're done. We don't need to talk anymore.
I mean, it's a big if, right? But if one of these other players wins D-Glow GMC MVP, yeah, I do think you still need to consider.
Sure.
And then we have Tour Championship, which could be potentially a tiebreaker.
I hear you. I don't think it's likely.
I know it's a stretch. No, I don't.
Yeah, you're in like the 1% territory for me now, Charlie.
I hear you.
99.9% chance if Silva wins throw pink, the podium race is done. There's my caveat. Kristen.
Okay. Kristen. All right. First of all, I'm going to check Kristen's page.
Kristen has said she's not playing until throw pink.
Well, but maybe she changes her mind.
Perhaps.
She's still only registered for throw pink. Let's take her at her word. Well, obviously, she has to win throw pink. The question is, would that be enough?
No.
I think she just can't. I think she simply can't win this year. I think
Kristen's path to podium's done.
I think it's over.
I agree.
Like the full implosion at the majors and at Worlds is just too. Like it's too costly. Like how do you like? There's just no path. There's no path.
Yeah. There's no path. There is no path. There's no path forward. I think Kristen is out of the Worlds conversation.
And despite the fact that, like, besides World, like, if you take the Worlds DNF out,
yeah,
it's like she doesn't. It's not bad. Like she's got the best numbers in a bunch of categories. She has the most podiums.
She's still got 3 wins, which is second behind Silva and Holland.
But she doesn't have a major, Josh. So we give her throw pink. We're counting that, but I still just don't know. I just don't think it's enough. I have a really, really hard time imagining what it would possibly take. I don't think it's possible.
If Kristen won throw pink, and this is like a 0.001%. If Kristen wins throw pink and nobody else wins anything else and thus list wins anything else the rest of the season, then I'm willing to hear a conversation.
You know what I want to see?
What do you
I want Kristen to decide, you know what? I'm back, baby. Macbeth inspired me. I'm coming back for the playoffs. GMC, MVP, throw pink, sweep, balling on him, Pody out of nowhere. That's possible.
That is possible. Again, we're talking in the less than 1%
That would be
category.
so sick.
That
by
would
the
be
way.
sick.
If she just came back and was like, everybody else step aside. Now, again, are we talking about a 99% unlikely? Yes, we are.
Yeah. In our
Okay,
world
Evelina?
of reality, I think Kristen's door is closed, though.
Evelina needs 2 more wins
Yes.
and a couple more podiums. Needs to
Okay.
play awesome.
I think I've been a little bit more like, I think I need a little more from them. I'm gonna swing the other way with Evelina. I think Evelina has been good enough that 2 wins and just top 10ing the rest of the season. And she's very much in the conversation. Good win.
Yeah. It'd be a tough decision between her and Silva at that point.
It'd become very difficult between her and Silva because a lot, we'd give more credit to Evelina's wins, given that they're down the stretch here. It becomes a
These late season wins, it's both a recency bias thing, but it's also these are the best tournaments. These are the best fields. These are the ones that feel like they matter the most.
It is.
Like these are the winning the playoff events, like those matter more than a standard elite series. They do.
Yes, they do. They do. Both because they are a playoff event and because of the courses that they're played on, the tournaments that they are, the history that they play, etc.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really do think Evelina, with just 2 more wins and good finishes, could bump herself into the podium.
All right. Let's hit Pursewatch real quick and picks rundown, and then we are wrapping up for today's show.
Charlie,
Yes, sir.
you're never going to believe it.
What?
I think the Idlewild has taken the crown for the best payout of a 3-day tournament.
Really?
Yes.
Idlewild?
Idlewild.
I did not expect that.
You and me both. Ready for this? Idlewild.
Let's run down the numbers.
$70,000 for MPO, $500, $34,840 for FPO, $105,340 for Idlewild. That comes in above Portland, which is a plus event. That comes in above Discmania Challenge, formerly Des Moines, which has been kind of known as like the big tournament for 3 days. And Charlie, this event comes in as the highest cash per person of any event outside the majors. $742, beating Ledgestone. LWS,
Wow.
I'd like to apologize. It is the LWS Open at Idlewild, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you forget it. It is no longer Idlewild. It is the LWS Open at Idlewild.
I feel like now I'm looking at the numbers in front of my face right now, and I am seeing that this was also a huge payout last year. 105,768. So it was actually down about 0.5%.
I don't know how we missed.
In my brain, I don't think of this as like a big payout tournament. That's not fair. I am being unfair to the LWS Open at Idlewild.
Yeah.
Now, hang on a minute. Are there any other crazy where's the 2020? I lost my tab. I want to make sure that I get that they didn't have any additional sponsors in the title this year. So it is the LWS Open at Idlewild, and shout out to them. To outdo Ledgestone on a money per person basis is very impressive.
Yeah. Did we track money per person last year?
I think so.
I couldn't remember if we started this year last year. Because I'm curious, did Idlewild, I know Idlewild had a lot of money last year, but what did it have for players? Did they have top basically cash per person?
Last year they had 151 players.
Okay. So what was the,
so I think their purse was better relative
this year
by a per person basis.
Yeah, because they were only down like $350. Yeah. So it's down $350, but they were 9 people short. And that's probably why we were like, oh yeah, it was a good finish, but like a good purse, but this year, like they are the leader in a lot of categories.
Idlewild has earned its spot. I apologize. The LWS Open at Idlewild has earned its spot on the tour forever
Yeah.
Do not take this tournament off the tour.
Ever.
It's Great Woods Golf. There's a bunch of spectators there. We get great tournaments and fun finishes, and they're paying out great.
And
What
money.
do you need to see? We don't need to see things change. Just keep doing what you're doing. It's in a good geographical spot on the tour that doesn't otherwise get served.
Yep.
This tournament is great. This tournament rules.
Great. Yep.
Shout out
Congratulations
to
LWS Open.
All right. Let's take a look at our picks. Josh beats me this week. We both had Ohn. That was obvious. We both took a 0 with Hannah Wynn and Cadence Burge, respectively. I had Cat Merch for 1.5 points, but Josh got 5 from Alexis Mondahano, though it could have been more.
Should have been 15.
She let you down. She let you down in the final round.
Should have been 15.
In the final 4 holes.
Yep.
Over in MPO, we each got points for Gannon. I took big fat 0s with Isaac and Andrew Marweed. Josh picked up 1.5 from Calvin Heimberg, but lost a point with Ezra Robinson. Ouch.
I'm coming for you, Charlie.
Yeah, it's a little too late, my friend.
No. Just you wait. I got you right where I wanted you. I wanted you to be comfortable.
RM Doherty, Gibbon, and Danny tie for the lead in FPO this week with 15 3/4 points. They each had Alexis, Ohn, and Val. Nice. Over in FPO and MPO, Jogan with the winner this week, 12 points with Gannon, McBeth, and Calvin Heimberg. All the top scorers had McBeth.
You have to.
Shout out to Eric, who had Kevin Jones and picked up a nice 5x.
Nice pull.
5x pull right there to finish in 4th this week. All right. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back with you on Thursday. No tournament coming up this weekend, so we can just take a breath, catch up. We're probably going to do some mailbag either this Thursday or next Tuesday, so send in your mail, upshot@ultiworld.com. We want your thoughts. We want your takes. Where's things standing in the FPO Player of the Year race? What are you expecting to see from McBeth moving forward? What do you want to see from the playoffs? Like, is somebody going to make a run? Give us your takes, and we will talk about them on the show. For Josh, I'm Charlie saying so long, and we'll talk to you next week. On Thursday, right here on the Upshot.
Nice outro.
It's just screaming in the background.